Are you looking for urban, creative, intellectual, and socially forward LGBTQ media? The new National Youth Pride Services Network provides more than 1,000 live and on-demand hours of programming from and around the world on several platforms simultaneously, including YouTube, Periscope, radio, Apple TV, and Chromecast. With original programs from NYPS, the fastest-growing Black LGBTQ movement in the U.S., as well as from other amazing producers, you are sure to find something you like each and every day. For your free subscription, visit www.nypsnetwork.com today.
Hi, good evening, and welcome to yet another episode of Monday Nights with me, Danny Stewart. I am your host here on Monday Nights with Danny Stewart on the NYPS network. And for those of you who all that have not subscribed, please go to www.nypsnetwork.com and subscribe to the NYPS network. It is free and it keeps you up to date on all the things that are going on here at NYPS. So before I start, because tonight's episode is going to be kind of a rant, but I feel like it's important, and I'll tell you all why. But before I start, I just want to say if there are any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want to know about me or about the show, anything you want to say, whether you agree, disagree, all of that good stuff, hit my line at 202-599-1092. Again, that's 202-599-1092. And y'all have to excuse me, I just got through eating. I made pan-seared salmon, and I had a salad with it. It was really good. So if there's food in my teeth, y'all can tell me that too at 202-599-1092. A little food in my teeth, y'all see a little salmon, something, a little piece of green right now. But anyway, tonight's episode is about relationships and the reality of relationships in the society that we live in. And the reason I bring this to you all is because one of my very, very, very close friends, my brother, he and his boyfriend have been kind of going through some trouble as of late. And the situation escalated and kind of exploded, got out of control. And so they're now just kind of like trying to figure out where to go from here. So I've been on the phone with him practically every day since last week, Wednesday, because my birthday was on Tuesday. So last week, Wednesday. And we just talked about it, and I've been talking him through. And so some of the things that I have told him and some of the things that I've gathered from their situation, which I won't divulge, so brother, you don't have to worry about it. But some of the things that I've gathered from their situation, some of the things that, I've just been telling him that I know is good advice because it's some of the stuff that I had to do in my past, which I might kind of delve into that as I keep going just to make a point. I'm going to share with you all. And it just seems like relationships are just a big thing this year. Like everybody getting married, everybody finding a boyfriend, everybody finding a girlfriend, everybody, all this stuff. Like it just seems like it's all around me. And then I have another friend who, every once in a while he'll make a post about he's not rushing into relationships. I won't put his name out there. But, he just kind of makes a post about, he's not rushing into a relationship and, he would like to have someone, but it's not a priority right now. He's going to wait. He's going to be patient, which to me is a really good thing. I love that. It's a great sign of maturity. And, just a step towards making sure that the next relationship is hopefully the last. If it's not the last, then it's something, that works out. But anyway, we're going to get into relationship reality 101. It's 2016, as everybody keeps saying. So in 2016, one of the first things that I want y'all to do, and I guess it's because of our generation, we grew up during a certain time period where Disney movies were hot. So we have the Cinderellas and the Sleeping Beauties and the Snow Whites and, Simba and Nala and all that good stuff. And even now, because we're big, well, most of us are like we're raised on Disney. We still have Princess Tiana. I can still claim her. So Princess Tiana, although she wasn't in my childhood, she's still a part of my life, if you ask me. So we have Princess Tiana too, and all those fairy tales are wonderful. And Aladdin, I can't forget Aladdin. But all those fairy tales are wonderful and beautiful in their own. You have Sleeping Beauty, who is awakened by true love's first kiss. Same thing with Snow White. And then you have Cinderella, who's on her way to this beautiful ball after, a fairy godmother gives her this, wonderful hair and gown and all that other extra stuff, all that. And she gets to the ball, meets the man of her dreams. And at midnight, she has to dash away. And the only thing he has is her slipper. And he goes throughout the entire kingdom, which is it's a message in that. Let me jot that down real quick. It's a message in that I want to kind of hit on too. Now I'm thinking about Cinderella, and her carrying on. But, so this man is searching for her, looking for her. Well, I want you all to first and foremost drop all those ideas. All of that fairy tale magic, oh, it's going to be perfect, it's going to be wonderful. It is, but it's not going to be a fairy tale where everything's just going to fall in line just absolutely perfectly. There are going to be some mistakes. There are going to be some things aren't going to be as you want them to be. And it's quite certain that some of you all have met your Prince Charming already. You just don't know it. And it's not for you to know right now. So accept that. And stop trying to make your life this perfect fairy tale the way you sit down and you talk about it and you have this concept of something that's not real. Those stories are beautiful, and some people's lives do kind of end up similar, not exactly like, but similar. But that stuff don't happen in real life every single day. You don't have somebody going to a ball or some Met Gala or something like that, and because of some crazy reason or whatever, they have to leave. And old dude that's been hawking them all night long across the way decides that he want to try and speak at that time, and old girl on her way out, and she accidentally leave her shoe. How many of y'all gonna go to the club and leave y'all shoe and hope that the dude that you was looking at gonna pick up your shoe and try and find you? I can tell you one thing, that shoe is lost forever if you do. I'm just letting you know right now. So don't try it. And please don't try poisoning yourself and, waiting for somebody to come and kiss you and wake you up. You do it if you want to. Your friends and everybody else be carrying your casket or something like that. All that craziness, please let it go. Let it go. Disney is not real life. As much as we would like it to be, it's not. So don't try and force your life into this storyline or this stereotype that's unrealistic, because you might need to be checked into somebody's loony bin, and your mind need to be evaluated, and I would hate for that to happen. But mental health awareness is very important. So yeah. So as we go on with Disney, the point about Cinderella, another thing which actually takes me to an even broader topic. What you do? So the point in Cinderella, which I love that story, not just because we have a black Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston. I'm a huge Whitney Houston fan, by the way. But Cinderella taught everyone, although in the Disney movie, most of the people were depicted as white. In the Rodgers and Hammerstein, which was the black Cinderella, Cinderella was black. You had, an Asian man, a black woman, a white man, king and queen. The prince was Asian. Cinderella was black. Her stepmother was white, and so were her two stepsisters. No, the one stepsister was white. The other stepsister was black. And then you have a plethora of colors across the board for the women that were waiting in line to dance with the prince. So the question that should arise in your mind is, how did he not know what Cinderella looked like? And why did he have to try the shoe on every woman in the kingdom before he found who Cinderella was? Didn't he just tell her she was black? Well, the prince was colorblind. And it's an implied meaning. It's an implied, it's one of those things you have to think about, and it's like, oh. But all in all, the overarching theme of that Cinderella is that love is blind, and not blind in the fact that everything that bad, the bad things that, you see in a person or something like that, you shouldn't pay attention to, but blind in the fact that you never know who may be that person. So this is step number two. Drop those damn stereotypes. Oh, he need to be tall and light skinned with locks and piercings and tattoos. He need to be tatted down, or he needs to be educated, this, that, blah, 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 the third. I only date white dudes. I only date dark skinned dudes. I don't talk to this type of female. Oh, I don't, all that, all that stuff right there. Drop it. Drop it. There is such a thing as having a standard. I have standards, high standards. There are certain things that I just don't tolerate, like just outright. Some of which, one of my big things, I really enjoy honesty. I like for you to be honest and for you to be consistent. If you can sit on the phone with me all day, well, not all day, because my life is not an all day thing where I can just sit and talk on the phone. But, like if you can wake up every morning and text me good morning or make sure that we have some type of communication at least 3 times a day, just to check in, hey, how you doing? Good morning. How are you? How did you sleep? Okay, are you on your way to work? Did you get up? Stuff like that. If you can do that and it's consistent, that grabs my attention right there. And then if you're honest about the things that you do, like one guy I was talking to, um, we just had a really big thing with like him telling the truth about the places he was going. And I was like, I don't care where you go or who you hang with. I just want to know for safety reasons. Like, you never know what may happen. Because at one point in Tallahassee, date raping was like a really big thing, and people were slipping drugs and drinks. So I just want to know where you going, just in case something happens to you. And then with another guy, it wasn't the fact that he hid it from me. It was just like he didn't tell me, and I didn't find out until like the next day. So it's like, oh, so that's why you didn't reply to my text message, or that's why you didn't call me back. It was like, oh, I meant to tell you, but you didn't. And so if something were to happen to you, what I'm supposed to tell your best friend or whomever or whatever, like, I don't know where you went. So it's not that I want to like control the life or anything like that, but just be honest, be open, like what you doing, where you hanging with. Like one thing I tell anybody, and this is another thing for me, my standards, one of my biggest things, if you don't contribute to my lifestyle and my grandma doesn't do it because she's the only person that like contributes and helps me out when I need it, you ain't got nothing to say to me about anything that I decide to do, where I go, who I hang with. That's none of your business. Even if we are in a relationship, there are certain things that I give to you as a courtesy, like, oh, well, I'm finna go with so and so, and usually it's like my best friend and Taurus, a couple homeboys, sometimes my homegirls. There's no, and my grandma don't even know all of them, but if I tell her I'm out with friends, okay, she respects me as an adult and says, okay, cool. So, and I'm, just this is just, just trying to give y'all a good glimpse of me and my standards so I'm not confusing you. And so if I'm talking to a guy or we're dating or anything like that, and you have to ask me, oh, well, why you got to go there? Like, I frequent New Orleans. New Orleans is one of my favorite places to go if I have a good weekend, probably like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can leave on a Friday, get there, turn up that night, wake up Saturday, run around and eat, do stuff like that, turn up again that night, and then get up Sunday and come back here. It's a quick 5 hour trip for me. It's really not that big from Tallahassee. It's 5 hours from Tallahassee. It's not that big. And so for me, like, I love to go to New Orleans. It's a fun place to go. Some people, a lot of the gays like to run to Atlanta. Oh my God, Atlanta, Atlanta, Atlanta. That's the Mecca. For me, it is not. And no shade against the Atlanteans. I love y'all dearly. I have a lot of loves up there in Atlanta. But Atlanta's not the place where I like to go, like to party and hang out. I'd rather go to New Orleans. I just rather go to New Orleans. Like, I love New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay. So don't ask me, oh, why you always going to New Orleans or why you going to New Orleans? Because I want to. I have the money to go. I'm getting in my car putting gas in my car out of my check, and I'm going to New Orleans. Do you want to go with me? You want to meet me there? Because if not, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. Now, if it did come to where, I was with a guy for, I'll say over 2 years, that gives me about 2, 3 years, and we decided to, cohabitate, and we figured that we could work and all that other stuff, and we had a stable relationship where we were going, then it's a possibility. Because I'm still one of those, like, you just can't tell me what to do and where to go. I need my freedom. But I do understand, like, if you don't want me to go, okay, well, I just call the people and like, hey, y'all, my girls, I'm sitting this one out. They want to spend time with me, so I'm spending time with they. And they'll understand, like, my friends aren't like that. They don't get to, and that's another thing. Your friends shouldn't get in the way either. But my friends aren't like that to where they hinder like relationships. Like my true friends, well, all of my friends are true friends. All of them encourage my relationship, no matter who it's with, anything like that. As long as the person isn't toxic to me, they're good. So I mean, I'm glad I have real friends. But anyway, so like I was saying, it's a difference between having standards and trying to make someone fit like some stereotype or something like that. Because when you limit the people that you select from as far as dating, you may pass up your Prince Charming or your queen. You really may pass them up because you only looking for people that fit over here, and the spectrum is like way out there, way out there. Now, as far as like mindset, personality wise, I can understand that. I can understand because for me, like it's quite obvious. A controlling person or somebody that's like very, very needy, I'm just not fit for. It does not work that way. I don't like needy people. I don't like for you to, oh, I want to talk to you all day. Why you ain't text me back? I was at work. I can't text you all day while I'm at work. Well, you could have called me and you could have said that I was asleep. And everybody that knows me know I like to take a damn nap. So please don't interrupt my sleep. And so, and I actually talked to a guy like that. He just, oof, Jesus, y'all. Oh my God. Every time I did not reply within 5 minutes, hey. And if I reply to that, hello, hello, a bunch of O's, all that other stuff. And then he was like, well, fine, since you don't want to text me back, I just got cussed out, like slammed out. And I'm like, dang, like I can't take a nap? Like, Jesus. Look, needless to say, that didn't go very far. But yeah, that's just not my type of dude. So like needy people, all that other stuff, that's just not me. So moving right along down my little list that I've made, and it might get a little longer as I keep talking. For all y'all that be running after trade, and I'm talking about real trade, like boys that have not accepted the fact that they're gay or they don't want to live in, the reality that they're gay, just like to play around with dudes on the side and, act like they're running after females or actually have a girlfriend, but they just playing around with girls on the side. I mean, with dudes on the side. Trade ain't it. Leave Trade alone. Leave Trade where he at. If you really out here looking for love, leave Trade where he at. Wherever you meet him, Jack, Grinder, Tinder, all them little linked up thingies, leave Trade where the hell he at. Cause he is not gonna marry you. Trade is not finna, y'all not finna run off into the sunset together. He's not gonna stand in the sun with you. Trade is Trade. I don't really know why they call, well, I know why they call him Trade, but I can't articulate it right. But y'all know what Trade is. And he ain't for you. Leave Trade alone. Now, if you want to get your rocks off and Trade is your thing, and you just like masculine dudes that play around in the closet and stuff like that, okay, cool. But don't be running around here. And I'm saying it because I've seen it happen to people, and I see people get caught up in stuff like this. Don't be running around here thinking Trade finna leave his girlfriend, leave his wife, come out the closet, all that other stuff. Don't think that he's about to do that for you just because your sex is good, because you spend your money on him, he may spend his money on you too. Y'all chemistry is good, all that other stuff. There was a guy that I talked to a lot of guys. I'm not ashamed of that either. But there was a guy I was talking to, and he was straight. And at first, I didn't think he was. I was just like, well, maybe he's just really funny about his family, because I'm funny about my family too. I may, date somebody, and they'll hear about my grandma. They'll hear me talk to my grandma. but you're not going home to meet her. I don't bring just anybody home. Like there's a certain, that goes back to my standards. You have to meet my standards, and the main standard is that consistency. If you're not gonna be around long enough, I don't need her asking me about you. And we done argued and broke up and all that other stuff, and you done broke my heart, and I done cussed you out. And then I go home and I gotta listen to her ask, "Oh, well, how's so and so doing?" And every time she asks behind her back, I'm rolling my eyes like, "Oh my God, why is she asking about him?" And I have to fake like, "Oh, you good," or whatever. When really in my mind, I'm saying, I don't give a flying what he doing or where he at. But you know, and that's one of the big things that people, I need people to understand. I really wish people would understand. Don't be taking everybody home to meet your mom and meet your people, and then y'all break up 2, 3 weeks or a couple months later, and they still asking about them. Don't be mad at your people for asking about them. You the one who brought their ass over. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Trade is not gonna give you no happy home. Trade may take now some people now, and I'm not gonna lie, because it happens. Trade take care of you, pay your bills, all that other stuff. But at what cost? You have to really ask yourself, at what cost? Is this really what you want to? Is that really how you want to live your life? You whatever on the side, and he may be taking care of you, but you still go to sleep most of the nights of the year. You go to bed at night by yourself. If you work, you really don't see him like that. And it's constantly, whoever the main is calling his phone, texting him, trying to find out where he is. Like, you're not even really second fiddle, quite honestly, because if you look at the dynamic of it, Trey has family, then he has, his relationship, and then he has his homeboys and his friends that have to cover for him, and then work life on top of that. So you fall somewhere behind work, like 5, 6, 7 on the totem pole. You're not that high up. You are not that, but you are not a priority. You're a plaything that he keeps if you are taken care of, that he keeps in a well-maintained box. So let's be realistic about this thing. Trade ain't where it's at. I mean, I know some people go up for the hyper masculinity thing of that thing, all that nature. But I know some very, very, very nice looking young men that actually one of them posted not too long ago about him just being tickled when he finds out that, well, when some heterosexual people that he knows find out that he's not interested in women at all, but he's very, very masculine. And to look at him and interact with him, you would probably never know, ever, ever, ever know that he is strictly gay. Like he only looks for men. You probably never know it. And he's like 6'2". He works out religiously, muscular, brown skin. He's very handsome, but you probably never know it just to look at him. And so he's just really tickled about that, and I found it funny too when he posted it on Facebook. But there are all types of men in the gay spectrum, and some of them literally are super masculine to where you know they know and identify themselves as a man. They act as a man, but they love other men. And then you have the ones on the opposite end of the spectrum that, I, identify as a woman or are very effeminate. And they yet still identify as a man. Their gender identity is still that of a man, but they just have very effeminate ways. So there is a lot to look for in the openly gay spectrum. So one thing that I really, and this is something that, once you really get into your truth and you start to live in your truth, a lot of people will understand. Talking to men that are still in the closet or still have issues about who they are and, haven't come to terms with, being gay and loving men and all the other stuff, that's not for you. And that's what trade is. Trade is a ball of confusion. Yes, it may be fun when you're young to say, oh, well, this football player this or that basketball player that or whoever, to feel like you done had the hottest athlete or whatever. But that's not fun. And really, once you get to that maturity level, it's wear and tear on the soul. It really is. So leave trade alone. Leave trade where they at. If Trade ain't willing to meet you where you at, leave his behind where he at. I'm trying not to cuss and carry on. I'll be forgetting. So this is another one that I always see on the, everybody's talking about 50-50, 50-50. This whole concept of you pull your way, I pull mine. That's a wonderful, wonderful idea. It is. But in this life, the world we live in, and the things that happen in life, 50-50 is not enough. And I'm going to tell you why. And at first, I believed in it because that's what the people around me always talked about 50-50. Everybody has to be equal. And with women, on the rise of equality and things like that, and, them wanting to be treated as equals of men and things, that's what most people are adopting, a 50-50 relationship where he pays, she pays, she takes some bills, he takes some bills, we make about the same amount of money, all of that good stuff. And that's a great thing. If it works for your relationship and it works for your ideal with you and your mate, by all means, y'all be happy with that. But for me and mine, and I just posted this on Facebook, I really need someone who understands that 50-50 is not going to always be enough for me. There are going to be times where it's going to be 10-90 with me giving 10 and you having to give 90. Then it's going to be other times where it's me giving 100 because you can't. It's going to be times where it's 20-80 or 60-40. It's going to be times where 70-30 is 99.9, and all the other person is giving is 0.01. This stuff happens because you have to factor in, especially once you get into a long standing relationship where everything is stable and you're living a life, hopefully you're married. Hopefully you're married, but some people don't want marriage. So a relationship with some stability in it, and you get to that point where it's, midlife crisis, and you're just rethinking everything that you've ever done. All your accomplishments start to mean nothing. Your relationship is going to hell in a handbasket. Your parents getting sick, or one of your parents done died. So you suffering from, detachment, withdrawal, possibly depression. All types of stuff are coming at it. Let's not even factor in the fact that you may have children. They running your damn nerves crazy. So all hell is breaking loose and you and your partner trying to figure out what to do. That's not a 50-50 situation. That's a situation where one person may have to sit out while the other person goes to bat and swings and swings and swings until your arms are tired, your legs about to give out, your lungs are about to collapse, and you still swinging because your partner can't get in there and tag in like you need them to. So you still swinging, and you still swinging, and you still swinging. Or even worse, in a situation like mine. And it's not very dire or anything like that, but there are periods in my life where I need physical assistance. I have sickle cell, and with that comes pain crises, which I'm experiencing one now. And for mine, it affects only my lower body, and usually it's only one leg. So it may be the left leg or the right leg, but one of my legs starts to ache, and it's not really like the whole leg, but it's like the joint where the hip and the thigh bone connect, and it hurts like really bad. Sometimes I can't get out of bed. It takes me a while to move, and I really like hobble around like I'm 90 years old about to croak at any moment. So there are going to be times where I physically won't be able to get up and go to work. I won't be able to get up and cook and clean and things like that. And, that's something that whomever my partner is going to be later on in life will have to understand. There are going to be times where you're going to have to do everything that you're used to me doing because I'm not going to be able to do it. There are going to be times where you're going to have to cater to me because I'm not able to. And it's not something that I want to do, but it's just part of my body. And I have yet to figure out, like, no one's figured out what it is. I stay hydrated. And, at first when I was a child, that was a big problem. Now it's just, I don't know. It's just an onset. It goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. When I'm at my top and, I'm just like feeling it, you can't catch up with me. I'm very fast. I move very fast with a sense of urgency as if I'm about to be late at every moment, every given moment. But when I fall into this pain crisis and it sets in, I just don't have that get up and go. Like every movement of the leg hurts. So stuff like that. You know, you have medical issues and things like that. You still have some people who are bipolar, you know, other mental issues and things like that that some people would have to deal with. So that's a big thing. 50-50 is not always enough. It's not. In the game of true love and, you know, making it work, 50-50 is not always enough. And even in the relationships where they feel like everything should be 50-50, it's going to be times where their relationship is not fully 50-50. It's going to have to be some greater giving and taking in some points because things happen in life. It happens all the time. So drop the mold of everything's always going to have to be 50-50. It's just not how that's not how life goes. That's not how life goes. No matter what relationship you're in, be it a friendship, be it, you know, a familial relationship or a romantic relationship, it does not go like that. There's always going to have to, there are going to be times where it's going to be, like I said, a greater giver and a greater taker until things can balance out. So that whole 50-50 concept, and that's something I deeply, like, deeply believe in my heart. And I get it from my best friend, Antoris. He was telling me about his aunt and his uncle before his aunt died and how, you know, their relationship worked, and that's where he got his concept of love. And I probably never told him this, but him describing their relationship to me changed my view of what love in a relationship is. Because when his aunt got sick and the closer it got towards the end, she couldn't get up and do what his uncle was used to her doing. So he would have to get up and, you know, take care of certain things that he was used to her doing, be it grocery shopping, cleaning the house, all that other stuff. He would have to get up and rub her feet when her feet got cold or when her feet started to ache. Every 5 minutes, she's saying she hot, so he turning on the AC. Then she's saying she cold, he turned the AC off. Doing whatever he can to make her as comfortable as possible. That's not 50-50, baby. That was him giving his all because she wasn't able to give anything. That's true love. And so another thing that I was telling my friend, my brother, because you know he in their the little spat that him and his boyfriend are having, he was just so tangled up and caught up in him. And I'm gonna hit 2 points with this one because it's just like boom. He's really tangled up and caught up in his boyfriend, and that's a great thing. It's a great thing. But one thing that I told him was there are certain times and certain periods, especially like now when y'all are not together, and he's pointed out some things that has made him upset with you that you need to take time out and work on. Don't try and rush him back to you because those same problems are going to be there, especially if you're not making conscious steps to work on them. Not saying that he's not, but that was something I was telling him last week. Whatever he's saying is wrong, whatever he's saying is upsetting him or something like that, work on that. Find out what it is within you that bothers you when he does something, or you know the reasons why you do this or how you think this way and stuff like that, and work on it. If he feels it's detrimental to your relationship, there are things in you that you need to work on. So you need to take some time and do some self-reflection, figure out what it is that you got going on in your head, and work on it within you, and encourage him to do the same thing. So that's a big thing. While you're single, that's time for you to do all the things that you want to do with another person. Like, if I were to, you know, get into a relationship right now, I would want to go and experience New Orleans with my boyfriend for the first time. And I honestly know that as many times as I've been there within the past year or two, it's been 2 years. But anyway, as many times that I have been to New Orleans, I know that the first time with the one that I love will be like the first time of me ever coming to the city all over again and staying and enjoying myself. Everything will seem new. Everything will seem more fun. I will experience everything more intensely. And it's not just, you know, that euphoric stage of, oh, it's new, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's really like a physiological thing. I might break it down in another video or something like that. You know, like I've been telling you all, I'm a psychology student, so certain things I have to learn and read about. And, being in love is one of those things, and the things that it does to your brain. So there are actual changes in your brain when you are in love. And so for me, I know that that stuff will be new. Going to San Antonio again. I went out there for my sister's graduation, so I know if I decide to go there ever again, I go. If I fall in love and stuff like that, that'll be something brand new. Atlanta will be new. Doing the stuff that I do at home in Jacksonville will be new. Coming to homecoming at FAMU would be new. Orlando, all the things that I've ever done in my life will be brand new because I'm doing it with somebody that I love and I care about and I get to share time and space with, and that is very special and precious to me. So it's nothing wrong with, going and doing things and traveling and living, there's nothing wrong with that. And actually, when I grew out of that idea that, oh, I need to wait for my man, I need to wait for somebody before I start doing all of this and all of that. Once I grew out of that and I started traveling, I actually found that my life was a whole lot better. Like me and my friends hit the road whenever we all have the money to go, wherever we decide to go, we plan it out, do it, save our money, and we hit it and don't look back. And even if the trip doesn't go the way that we plan it to go, it's the memories that we make while we're on those trips together, the fun that we have. That's the stuff that I love and I'm always cherish. So go out and make those memories on your own because you never know. You may meet a guy or a girl who has never left their block or, let alone their city. So you'll be that person to help them experience the country and the world outside of their city and, the only places that they know. So you could open their eyes to something new. And then you may find somebody that's always, been on the go, on the road, on the road, on the road, but y'all have never been to the same cities before. Like he may have been to Nashville, you may have been to Memphis, he may have been to Little Rock, you may have been to what's another city over there? Kansas City. He may have been to Detroit a couple times. You may have been to New York all your life. He frequent travelers all over the place, but y'all have never been in the same cities. And then these are the ones that I like, the ones where y'all have been in the same city at the same time, probably even in the same place and didn't know each other. I find that very romantic. It's real cute to me. I just be wondering, like, is that really gonna happen to me? Like, if I go through my pictures with Bay later on down the line, will I see him in the background of one of my pictures or something? But just little weird stuff I be wondering. But but you never know like what your experiences may open you to. And then who's to tell you like you may find Bay as the flight attendant or the captain on your flight. You may find him as the bartender that worked at the bar that you went to. You may just find him as another traveler or somebody, passing by in a certain city. So you never know what experiences will lead you to later, to whatever later on down the line. So get out, go out there, live, travel, do the things that you want to do before you decide to tie your life to somebody else. And then once you do them over again because it's a whole new experience with that person. And then things change over time. So, I mean, hell, got stuff to do later on. And outside of working on you, well, this is a part of it, but this is outside of just you. Plan out the things that you want to do with your life. And if you are in a relationship, both of you should sit down and create some type of game plan, some type of master plan. And one thing I like to say when people say, I'm sitting here thinking of a master plan, don't forget the master's plan for those of you all who believe in a higher power. While you're thinking of a master plan, don't forget the master's plan. So hope that your master plan lines up with the master's plan. But anyway, but yes, plan out your life together. It's nothing wrong with doing that. To me, even in fresh relationships, it gives you something to work towards. It really does. And even if those plans fall through, it gives you an idea of what you may want in life. Like one of the big things for me, I really don't see myself as a father or having children. I don't. So when I get with somebody and the first thing that come out of their mouth is kids, 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 and that's all they have, and it seems like they having baby fever and baby flu and baby chicken pox and all that other stuff, I already know we ain't gonna work out because you trying to make me somebody's daddy like within the next 2-3 years. That's not my thing. I'm not comfortable with full-time daddy duty. I'd rather be Uncle Danny, that everybody kids come over to my house, and all my nieces and nephews get to spend the weekend with Uncle Danny, and we go out, we have our fun, we camp out in the yard, we go do everything that they want to do. I let everybody pick, y'all what y'all want to do this weekend. Uncle Danny gonna take y'all here. Uncle Danny gonna do this. Spoil him rotten, and then send them right back home to their parents. And when they come pick them up, you done spoiled them right. See, now I can't get them to do nothing. They all talking about Uncle Danny, Uncle Danny, Uncle Danny. That's me. I want to be that relative, that uncle, that auntie that buys the bomb gifts, always giving you money, always spoil you, take your side when you and your parents get at it, although you might be wrong, but I'm still gonna take your side because you do no wrong in my eyes. And you always know you can get baby at Uncle Danny house. Always got the good food. Always took you everywhere. You had the best memories with Uncle Danny. Bail you out when you need help, all of that. But I just don't feel like I'm fit for full-time father duty, which I'll probably get into that on another, but I just don't feel like I am. So, kids is something that I don't put into my plan. Now, if I do meet somebody and it gets serious enough, I may consider compromising because I do love that person. But in the meantime, between time, I'm not gonna blame for no kids. I don't want kids. No, biological, adopted, or anything in between. The only way I take on a child full time is if it's one of my best friend's children, and Lord forbid they pass away or they're incapable of keeping their child. That's the only way I would take on a child full time. Other than that, I ain't nobody's parent. Not at all. So that's one thing, home ownership, cars, career wise, how you're gonna do it. Like one of my coworkers, he's from Guinea-Bissau, Africa, and he moved here with his wife, and he and his wife are both in school. Well, he went to Brazil to finish up his degree in business, and he's come back here, and now he's working a full-time job. Well, I think two full-time jobs, um, and supporting his wife while she finishes up her bachelor's degree. And then he's going to go back to school to receive his master's degree. And, the way that they're working on each other's degree, one person takes the forefront and they're like, okay, I'm going to support you while you study and you do this. And then once you're done, it's my turn. That's a good 50-50 give and take type of relationship. But even in that, there's more giving and taking because unfortunately she lost her job a couple months back. So she's a full-time student and he's working two full-time jobs to support the entire household, him and her schooling. So even in that 50-50 of him stopping his education to help her, there's more giving than taking, or whatever. So that's a great thing. I love that. That was just so wonderful to me. But yes, plan out what it is that you're going to do, and then, hope that everything goes according to plan, but also have some fallbacks, some other talents or things that you can do, some other places that you can go, things that safety nets is what my godmother calls it. Make sure you have some safety nets. So she's usually talking about school, and when we talk about safety nets, she's talking about extra credit. But safety nets, those are very important. Make sure that you have those so that if something does happen and, something ludicrous happens, like even in not so ludicrous as to breakups, but, even if you all break up, your entire life is not chained to and revolving around this one person. Because the worst thing you can do is chain yourself to a man or a woman and believe that they're going to be there for the rest of your life and they decide to walk away for the next best thing or because you all just can't get it right and you all aren't meant to be together. You built this life together and now it just falls apart. And you're sitting stuck trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh, he left me. She never coming back. It's okay to get down for like a couple weeks or something like that, but you have to keep moving because time stops for no one at all. And when it comes down to paying your taxes and your bills and things like that, they're not gonna be like, oh, well, we feel so sorry for you, because your girlfriend left you, your boyfriend just left you high and dry. Don't worry about your bills for the next couple months. You just go ahead and take time and grieve. No, that's not gonna happen. As much as I wish people would do stuff, or these companies would do something like that and have some consideration for hardships, no matter how large or small they may seem, or how common they may be, you have people that will take advantage of the system. So it doesn't work that way for everyone. So have some type of backup plan or some type of safety net that you can fall into and use to catch yourself. So if all goes to hell in a handbasket today, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, you're not distraught and devastated and waiting or searching and hoping for some type of answer to fall out of the sky because everything that you've ever planned and everything that you ever thought of included this one person. That's just not how it goes. It may sound selfish, whatever. I call it self preservation because I've done it with a couple people and it set me behind. And so now I may be talking to somebody every single day on the phone. Like we just every day, great chemistry, all that other good stuff. But baby, you best believe for every plan that we come up with and all the stuff that we choose to do together in the future, be it near or far, I have something lined up for myself. So if I'm moving out of the state to be with you, you best believe I'm gonna move somewhere where I know I got a couple people couches I can go crash on until I get back on my feet. Or I know I can always skip and hop and come right back home to Jacksonville. That's just a given. And even in that, probably gonna have a couple jobs in my back pocket just in case. And never, ever, 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 ever allow all of your money to be put into joint accounts. It's not deceitful to have your own account of savings and things like that. Because one thing you won't do with this one is clean out the joint account, claim all of it as yours, and not have to go through a hassle of getting my money back and proving that it's mine. Now we have a couple thousand in the joint account. You best believe I got a couple more thousand in my own account over here at a separate bank or, financial institution that you can't touch. And it's not, again, it's not being manipulative or me being deceitful or anything like that. You just never know what may happen. So I'm giving y'all some real, like real life stuff right now, and hopefully some of you all are taking this. But no, I don't believe in that. Like, it's great if we can trust each other with these accounts and things like that, but that has happened to a very, very, very close um dear friend of mine, like very near to my heart. He called me one day and he and his ex had gotten into it. His ex took all of his money, mind you, he was traveling at the time. So he didn't even have money to get from where he was to his final destination. And he had to go through hoops and red tape and all types of other stuff to prove that the money that was taken from the account was his. So, it really kind of delayed him as far as, getting to where he was going and certain things. He almost lost his job, stuff like that. It was just like, oh my gosh, that's just terrible. And I wasn't in a position to be able to help him at the time. But, and then finally, just your friends. But yeah, just make sure that you have some type of plan or something like that to back up and cushion yourself just in case you do take a heavy blow in life and some things fall apart. But finally, your friends. Your friends should be supportive of you. Friends should always have your back, right, wrong, and indifferent. And if you find people that are constantly, as we like to use the term, hating or just bringing you down, those people are not meant for you. There's a difference between tearing someone down and giving constructive criticism. So just be wary of the people that you call friends. Be wary of the things that they do. Be cognizant of the things that they say, the things that they have done, just some of their behaviors and the patterns and things like that. Be certain of who you're around because I can't even begin to explain to you how many people have friends that have ruined their relationships, either because the friend was jealous of the fact that that person was in a relationship, or the friend wanted the person, that the other friend was dating, stuff like that. And it happens all the time. Hopefully, none of you all have friends like that. But if you do, cut them off. You don't owe them anything. It is what it is. If you feel like you owe them an explanation, just be real and be honest about it. But get yourself out of that situation, cut them off immediately, and move on with your life, because that will be something that will bring you down and hinder you for the rest of your life until you let them go. They are dead weight. Let them go. And don't feel bad about it. Don't. Because at the end of the day, it's not you, it's them. And just like I was saying, plan and make sure that you have things for you set in place for you. You have to set up your life based on you. So people that are dead weight, that aren't getting you anywhere, aren't doing anything, and are contributing to your life in any way, shape, or form, in a positive way, shape, or form, they don't have any space in your life right now. The more negativity you allow in your life, the harder you will have to struggle to see the sunshine, to look at the silver lining in the clouds, to live and just be free, find peace of mind, love, happiness, all that other stuff. Is not going to come easy with all those people. And at some point, you're going to have to choose them or you. So, before it becomes hard and you have to like make that life changing decision, just go ahead and do it now. Do it now. Assess yourself first and then assess them, and where you want to go in life, and just have conversations with them, see what their goals are. If their goals are being the hot fashionista girl who's always on the scene, and she always got the hottest clothes on, and everybody see her, and she can get anybody number and all the other stuff, and your goals are, I'm trying to move and get out of the city, go experience somewhere new, travel probably every 4 months, um, or possibly, for some people, go to school, go back to school. I'm trying to get a degree so that I can get a job, live a life, something reputable that I can be proud of, make my people proud, something like that, build a home for children, anything like that. Y'all have nothing in common at all, like at all. This person's living for the people, and you're trying to live and, build some type of wealth for yourself. They're always going to be broke because they have a broke person's mindset. You want to spend money to impress people who probably don't even know your last name, let alone your middle name. And you over here trying to get yourself right so you can have money to spend on whatever, whenever, and you don't have to worry about ever, checking the price tag or anything like that, or that boosting and stealing and all that other stuff that people do. I mean, we in the gay society, so let's call it for what it is. So all the stuff that the girls do to get their clothes and things like that, you don't have to worry about that because you go to work, you got your stuff and you got your stuff lined out. So you ain't got to worry about all that. Where this thing over here, that may be her thing. Then again, she may have a job, but she never sees her money because she's using her money for things that it shouldn't be used for. It should be used to accumulate some type of wealth, go to something, more constructive, and you just buying clothes, buying clothes, buying clothes, buying clothes, just so that the kids can say, oh girl, you always look cute, you always got on the latest fashions. Okay, but what else do you have to offer? And I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. So, yes, tonight was Relationship Reality 101. Just some ways to get yourselves ready for a relationship, things that you need to do, and not just romantic relationships, but friendships, familiar relationships, all that good stuff. So, I hope that I helped somebody tonight, gave you a little something to think about, something to ponder. Don't forget to like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that you want to bring to me, hit my line at 202-599-1092. Thanks for tuning in to Monday Nights with Danny Stewart here on the NYPS Network. Thank you all so much. Peace, love, and blessings. I will see you all another time.